You gotta be shitting me. They're not sold out at all. There's so many. They're all in stock. There's so many. So many just sitting right there and you can't have them.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Andy Matrix back with another video, and I am back on Angry Guy's channel. You read the title? That's right, you read the title. Nintendo fans are rejecting the Nintendo Switch, baby. Yeah. Now, if you haven't heard about me, my name is Andy Matrix. Here on YouTube, I have a YouTube channel called Andy Society where I talk about economics and social issues. And also, I have an anime and gaming channel where I talk about anime, gaming, Japanese culture called Andy Matrix Gaming. Go check that out in the description. The links are in the description section. Also, before we continue, make sure to check out Angry Guy on Rumble. Okay, YouTube is now the censor station, and Angry is posting his videos on Rumble. Okay, and also there is Angry's Arcade, which is, I believe, is like a newsletter for Angry. It's all in the description section, everybody. So now let's go ahead and get to it. I've actually been wanting to talk about this. Okay, I've actually been wanting to talk about this because I don't plan on getting a Nintendo Switch. I actually bought the first one. I bought the first Nintendo Switch. It's a really nice device. It's really cool. But, you know, something that always bothered me about the Nintendo Switch is that the hardware, the hardware is always behind. Right? The hardware is always behind. And by the way, there's already complaints about the Nintendo Switch 2 hardware having issues with, you know, the Joy-Con, Joy-Con drift, as well as the battery. For some reason, I mean, if you take a look at the size, it's not as bulky as the Steam Deck, right? And I knew that it was gonna have battery problems, right? Because when you're playing AAA games on such a small device, there's bound to be, you know, there's bound to be a lot of drain of power, right? This is why PC gaming is just so much better, right? Because you can hook it up to your PC. Well, if it's a gaming laptop or a desktop, right? Having power when playing AAA games is essential. And I just knew that the Nintendo Switch 2 was just not gonna have, the battery life for playing a AAA game. It just wasn't. But anyways, so one of the things that's happening right now with the Nintendo Switch 2 after its release is that it's not selling very well. Now, hold on a second. Wait a minute. Sorry, guys, I'm a little under the weather. The Nintendo Switch 2, it has a lot of lines, right? So there's a lot of people waiting outside for it. We don't know how many copies it's sold yet, but there are people that they wake up in the morning early to go and get a copy of it. There are lines forming, but this Nintendo Switch, it's getting more criticism. Is being attacked now more than ever, more than the previous console. I think. Similar to the Nintendo Wii U, because the Nintendo Wii was really good, but the Wii U was just garbage, right? It was just garbage. The Wii U was garbage, right? So it's getting criticism probably more than the Wii U, and it's just not selling. Now, to show you an example of what's happening, with the Nintendo Switch in retail stores, I looked up a couple of YouTubers who had done a better review of this. So here we have Fritanga Plays. So go ahead and check out his YouTube channel. I'm gonna go ahead and play his YouTube video right here.
You gotta be shitting me. They're not sold out at all. There's so many. They're all in stock. There's so many. So many just sitting right there and you can't have them.
Frittata!
It's here! Now hold on. Don't crucify me because I know what you're thinking. Frit, nobody was a bigger talker of Nintendo Switch 2 than you. And you're right, and I'm still the biggest Switch 2 talker on the block. So you're probably reading the title of this video and wondering, hold on, did you go against your principles and your ethics, Frit? And did you really purchase a Switch 2? No. No. Never. Not in a million years. But I did leave my friend's home quite late last night, like around 2 in the morning. And I woke up really late today because of that. And I thought, oh man, I missed the grand launch of the Switch 2. I wanted to see my Walmarts, my Best Buys, my Targets flooded with all these soy jacks so I could go in person and point and laugh at all of them and record it. And lo and behold, there was nobody. This has to be the most dead console launch I have ever seen. And it got me wondering, did this thing sell? So I went to Walmart, right around my corner, and I'm not even lying, as you saw in the footage, full stock of Switch 2s. Not selling. Cashier told me they didn't sell out of pre-orders either, and there's just a bunch sitting in inventory, and nobody is buying them. I'm not even kidding. That gave me a hard on. You have no idea. Some people need blue chew. I need red salt. Oh my God, I was so happy to see that the Switch 2 did not sell out whatsoever in my town. I don't know if people here don't have interest. Online, I saw that there was people camping outside, but that wasn't happening here. It launched like poop particles launch out of a wet fart. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody seems to be buying it here. So I drove my ass home laughing, telling my friend, you won't believe it, there's a bunch of Switch 2s in stock at Walmart, and he said, come pick me up.
I feel sorry for your mother.
So we drove his ass back, and he bought, or should I say we had, because after trying this thing out for about 3 to 4 hours, he has now decided to return them.
And it's gone.
Oh my God. He hates it. He feels like Nintendo has learned absolutely nothing about the design of the Switch 1. Hasn't innovated since the first Switch, and I would agree with him. Perhaps this really just is Nintendo fucking it up for him. So of course, I got the grand privilege of getting to play and unbox these things and seeing how it stacks against my Steam Deck, and we got to run some comparisons, very limited comparisons, of course. And what a fucking disappointment. For $500, there should be way more Nintendo's throwing at you. So let's actually go over everything wrong with the device and why it led to my friend actually going back and returning it for his money. He was legitimately the only person that evening to buy any Switch 2s. Me, on the other hand, I couldn't afford any of this. And even if I could, you couldn't pay me. Not only was it bad that he was the only person, but he was also the only adult looking at the Switch 2. I'm not even lying to you when I tell you, there was a couple of kids 2 aisles down looking at the gaming PC keyboards. This thing was a fucking wet fart at launch. Okay, Frit, we get it, but all you do is hate on Nintendo. So what was your hands-on experience like? Very limited and very restrictive, because my friend didn't want a single fucking smudge on his screen. But as you can see, here it is in comparison right next to the Steam Deck, very close to size. The immediate difference that you will notice, though, doesn't just come from appearance, but also how it feels in your hands. And I will say, it's a massive disappointment. Nintendo hasn't learned a single damn thing from the Switch 1.
Okay, so Fritanga Plays is actually kind of a funny YouTuber. And yeah, so the Nintendo Switch 2 not only are people returning it, there's people that are returning it like after 24 hours, right? It's just not getting good reviews. The reviews on the Nintendo Switch 2 is as if you go on social media, obviously you have the people that are big Nintendo fanboys, right? Like man, what was that YouTube channel? What was that YouTuber? Forget his name. I'll probably put a picture of it here. But there's a lot of YouTubers that are attacking it. There's a lot of YouTubers. And on TikTok. I went on TikTok. Man, TikTok is boiling. I mean, TikTok is just setting Nintendo Switch 2 on fire. Not literally. Not literally. Figuratively, metaphorically on fire.
So apparently Nintendo just pulled the plug on their pre-orders, and the reviews for the Switch 2 are in. And apparently it's the worst rated console in history. And a lot of people are hating on it, like even on Target, Walmart, whatever, like the reviews are bad. Hence why I'm not getting it. I already told y'all I was gonna wait until reviews came in to see what people thought about the Switch 2 and see what my final decision was. I'm not getting it For one simple reason only. Because 1, the reviews suck. 2, you have to pay for tutorial. 3, you don't even own the console. And 4, I bet you 2 one of those Joy-Cons are gonna break if you literally yank it out the freaking socket. So yeah, I'm buying a PS5 and sticking with Xbox.
Right. I haven't seen anybody attack a console like this since I can't remember the last time. I mean, I remember back in the day, people used to make fun of Xbox, the Xbox versus PlayStation. But on the Nintendo Switch 2 now, man. You know what? You know something? I don't think the PS5 didn't get attacked this much on release. I mean, the games were getting attacked, but not the PlayStation 5 itself. The PlayStation 5 was a decent console, for what it was. People were just criticizing it because it didn't have enough games. Now, Nintendo Switch 2 does have a lot of games. It's just the hardware is the problem. The hardware. No, we were expecting a Nintendo Switch that was at the same level of a PlayStation 4, but and we did get at the same level of the PlayStation 4. But I mean, imagine playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then only having 40 minutes to play of power, only having a 40-minute battery. That's kind of depressing. But anyways, check out this video.
And guys, as console gaming fades into history, the PC master race is rising from its ashes, stronger, faster, and more customizable than ever. Don't get left behind in the dust. Angry Guys Arcade is your gateway to affordable PC gaming, personalized gaming advice, and the latest news shaping the future of gaming. The link is in the description. Go check it out now.
If you live near the Walmart in Clarion, Ohio, run. Do not walk there right now because look how many they have in stock. I'm counting at least 20 Switch 2s just sitting there ready to sell. And I'm seeing more and more stories like this over the interwebs. I'm starting to think I made a mistake by ordering mine online. I could have just walked into any store around here and picked one up. Why do I think this thing was going to be impossible to find until 2026?
When the Nintendo Switch 2 was announced, when it was first released, everybody was very excited. Now, my thoughts is that I thought the Nintendo Switch 2 was going to be bulkier. I thought it was going to be more of a bulky device, kind of like the Steam Deck. But it's really not much thicker than the Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, it's a little wider, but it's not thicker. Right? It's just the hardware. I don't know what is it about Nintendo. They just don't make their hardware strong enough. I don't know what it is. It's like they create their devices so that gaming companies can continue, putting out games with PlayStation 3 graphics. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that graphics is everything that matters. Graphics are cool, but it's I mean, as time goes by and the gaming industry changes, don't you think that you should upgrade your hardware? Because it seems as though the Nintendo Switch 2 is really it is stronger than their first Nintendo Switch, but not significantly, right? Not significantly. There's a lot of people that are just really, really, really disappointed. And this is why PC gaming is just gonna continue winning. Oh, by the way, a lot of people haven't heard this, but so many people went out and get a Nintendo Switch 2 that Nintendo said that they're not going to have a restock until 2026. So they're already having a shortage. So they are already having a shortage. They did not make enough Nintendo Switch 2s for the release date. Right? They're saying you're going to have to wait till 2026 next year, which is about 6 months from now or 7 months from now for you to get a Nintendo Switch 2. Seriously. I'm not kidding. But hey, don't listen to me, do your own research. Again, I do not plan to buy the Nintendo Switch 2 any time soon. And a lot of the games that went to the Nintendo Switch, so I already played them, And on top of that, Nintendo is one of the companies that's pushing the $80, $100, price mark for video games now. They're one of the companies that is pushing that. So thank you, Nintendo, for ruining the party for everybody. And it's also going to hurt the gaming industry, because if people aren't buying games because the games are too expensive, then it's just gonna crash the industry. Not enough game sales, companies don't make enough money. You know what's gonna happen. Then the layoffs come, more layoffs than we already have. Our economy already has more than 3 million layoffs altogether. It's crazy.
Switch 2 isn't restocking until 2026, and already people are illegally modding their Switch 2s? What is going on? So last night, Switch 2 dropped to some of the most massive lines for a midnight drop ever. And this morning, already, Targets has been just slammed with people getting their Switch 2. As a matter of fact, this person said that we're not getting a restock of the Switch 2 until 2026. Yeah. And these people illegally modded their Switch 2 immediately, obviously to try to sell a product, but they didn't play any of the games, so we don't know if they can actually play the games and not get bricked. It's been a massive success for Nintendo Switch, outside of everybody hating on it online for raising the prices of video games forever, amongst other things. What do you guys think about the Switch 2 not getting restocked until possibly 2026, if this is to be believed? Let me know in the comments.
But yeah, overall things are not looking good for Nintendo, and also the fact that they took this out of what's his name? That German guy that said you will own nothing and be happy. Yeah, they're on the bandwagon. They are on the bandwagon of you not owning anything. All right, so there's that going on too. And as gamers are figuring out that they don't really own their games, they're just gonna start switching over to PC, like Steam, Epic Games, because what's the difference? You don't own your Nintendo Switch games, and you don't own your Steam games either, right? The only thing is that on Steam, games are cheaper. They're more affordable, so why not go that way, right? Why not go the way of Steam? So PC game is just going to increase. And so this means that potentially the Steam Deck could outsell the Nintendo Switch, or maybe not outsell, but be at near the same level. I do see the Steam Deck becoming more and more popular. The Steam Deck is being sold in Japan, and I don't know the numbers in Japan. I think it's in the 100,000s, but it's getting up there. It's rising. The numbers are rising, and people are just becoming more open to PC gaming and not owning a console. Now, of course, we still got a lot of people that are console lovers, but that's also changing. That's also changing thanks to companies like Nintendo, and also, companies, Sony and Microsoft, they're, let's not leave them out of the picture. They're also to blame as well. But I think Nintendo, because they are one of the oldest gaming companies, I think people kind of criticize them the most, right? And going back to the Nintendo Switch 2, the hardware, well, I don't think we've ever seen a console get criticized this much, honestly, because if you look back in the past, every console usually does better than the next. Now, some people say that the GameCube was kind of crappy, but I actually like the GameCube. Right? But as time goes by, people just kind of, we get the Wii, the Nintendo Wii, which was absolutely fantastic. We get a Nintendo DS, absolutely fantastic. Right? A lot of the handhelds for Nintendo were great, and I think the Nintendo DS was one of Nintendo's best consoles. Right, the handhelds. Nintendo's are the best at handhelds. They pretty much invented handheld gaming. And I think because it's one of the most popular, gaming companies out there, I think people tend to criticize them the most. And also Nintendo's kind of a difficult company to deal with when it comes to the law and a whole bunch of stuff. And And the way that Nintendo goes after its opponents, after Nintendo goes after other companies, it's crazy. It's crazy. But let's see what happens. Let's see. Most likely next month the numbers are gonna come out for the Nintendo Switch 2 to see how many copies it sold. And I'm absolutely amazed that they're saying they're not gonna refill the inventory until 2026. Restock. That is crazy to me. That sounds absolutely crazy to me. Like, that people are gonna have to wait that long. It kind of tells you that they were anticipating, or maybe they were not expecting that the console will sell this much, right? So they were saying, oh, we're just not gonna make that many copies of the Nintendo Switch. We're not gonna make that many copies of it, right? Because according to our criticism online, the criticism we got online, this console's probably not gonna do that well, so let's not make that many copies. At least that's how it seems. Whatever your thoughts are, make sure to comment below. Make sure to like this video. Subscribe to Angry Guy's channel. Everybody, hit the notification bell, future notifications, and that's gonna be it. See you guys later. It's your boy Andy Matrix. Godspeed.